Next one, how to display the contents of X by using for loop here. To display the contents of X by using for loop, I'm going to take for loop for I in X colon, then we can write into I. You can see this code. If you want to display the contents of X one by one, I'm going to take for loop for I in X. So I will take the values from X because X is a list. In general, for loop will take the values from the list, set or tuple or from the range. Please try to understand this important point. In general, for loop used to take the values from the list, tuple, set or the range function. In this example, we are taking the values from the list. Now we can run the code. Now you can see, display the contents of the list. Now, the question is, display the contents of the list line by line. You can see the first element, then go to second element, then go to third element, like it will display all the elements, each element display in one line. How to display all the elements in one line? So there is a modification of the code for I comma end equal to double quote space. You can see here, because print function default uses /n character. Whatever it print, it includes /n. What it does, move the next printf to next line. To skip that process, we are going to take a keyword called end equal to space. That means print the complete output in one line with some spaces. Now we can run this code. Now you can see the output. Display the entire output in one line, okay, by using the keyword called end. For I in X, print I, display the content of I, because in the first iteration, value of I equal to 1. Second iteration, the value of I equal to 6. The last iteration, the value of I equal to 9. Print I means display the contents of I. This is the second method to display the contents of X. Now I'm going to explain the third method. For I in X, I can use one function, length of X, you can see here. For I, length of X. Then, how to get the first element by using X? How to get the first element of X? X of 0. How to get the second element? X of 1. Using same method, using for loop, I'm going to display all the elements one by one using the index position here. X of I. I can see here. Will it run the code properly or not? That is my question. Could you guess the output of this program? If you understand the concept of for loop, see, for I, what is the initial value of I in the first iteration?
0.
0. Okay. Now, could you guess the output of this code? Could you get the output of this code?
Error.
It display error because the variable I takes the values from the list, takes the values from the tuple, take the values from the set, or takes the values from the range function. It will not take directly value. Here you can take range of length of, now we can see here. Now length function will find the length of X. The length of X equal to 9. If you write range of 9, what is the starting value? 0. What is the ending value? The ending value minus 1, 8. How much every time the value incremented? 1, because the default increment value equal to 1. Range function takes 3 parameters, the starting value, ending value, third one is increment or decrement value. Out of these three parameters, one is compulsory, that is the second parameter. The remaining two are optional. If you don't specify the first parameter, it will take the default value equal to 0. If you don't specify the third parameter, it will take the default value equal to 1. So this is equal to 0 length of x comma 1. Instead of writing 0 length of x comma 1, directly can write range length of x. Now for I in range, what is the starting value? 0. 0 is stored into where? X. Initial value of I equal to 0. That means the first iteration value of I equal to 0. Print x of I. What is the value of I? 0. X of 0. What is the value of x of 0? 1. It will display 1. Again take the next value. Value of I equal to 1. I equal to 1 in second iteration. Print x of 1. Display 6. It will go like that. It will display the last value. Now we can run the code here. Now the output is same. You can see the previous example, this example, previous method, this method. In previous method, directly we can take the list. Okay. Here also we can take another example here. Instead of taking the variable here, directly we can take the list also here. How to take the list? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now run the code. You can see the output. The output is 1, 2, 3, 4. Why displaying 1, 2, 3, 4? May you know the reason? Why display the output is 6, 5, 4, 3? Because for loop takes the value from the list. The list consists of 1, 2, 3, 4. The first iteration, value of I equal to 1, x of 1. In this list, x of 1 equal to 6. Next value of I equal to 2. X of 2 equal to 5. Next value of I equal to 3. X of 3 equal to 4. Next value of I equal to 4. X of 4 equal to 4. It will display 6, 4, 5, 3. If I write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Could you guess the output now? Output is 1, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 7, 8, 9. Because the element 1, the index equal to 0. The element 6, the index equal to 1. Element 5, the index equal to 2. The element 9, the index equal to 8. Now we can run this code. The output is 1, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now come to the problem. You can see the second problem. Display sum of all elements. How to calculate sum of all elements of the given list? How to modify this code? X is a list. Okay. It consists of total 9 values. How to find sum of all 9 elements? Okay. Now here you can take the range function, or here you can take list X. Then take one variable sum equal to sum plus I. Sum equal to sum plus I. See, for all the possibilities of I, run sum equal to sum plus I. At the end, display the value of sum. Print sum. Now the question is, will it run properly or not? This code will run properly or not?
No.
Okay. One is saying no. What about others?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, right. Any other answers? Any other answers? Okay, right. This code will display one syntax error. What is that error? Why display that error? So this code will
Some value is
syntax error.
95.
Yes? Yes, anybody?
Sum is inside the for loop. It is not declared before the for.
Which one?
Sum.
Okay, right. Right. That means you are saying we need to declare sum before for loop?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. See, one student is saying we need to declare sum before for loop. Here we need to write. So before for loop, we need to write sum equal to 0. Then only it will run properly. Otherwise, it will display syntax error. Now the question is, why to write sum equal to 0? This is very, very important point in Python. Important valid point in Python. Why to declare sum equal to 0? That is my question. Is anybody?
So that Python can initialize the memory.
Okay, right. Otherwise, it will not initialize memory.
Otherwise, if we don't write for sum before for, then it will initialize the memory in the for, and after the for is over, it will remove the memory.
Okay, right. There are 2 points. There are 2 points to explain this concept. The first point,
Sir,
Python. Just wait. In Python, before calling any variable, please try to understand. Before calling any variable, you should declare and initialize. In Python, I'm asking. I'm telling in Python. If you take C, C++, Java, before calling any variable, you should declare or define. Please try to understand. In C, C++, Java, before calling any variable, you should declare or define. Then only you are allowed to call the variable. But when it comes to Python, before calling any variable, you should declare and initialize. Then only we can call, otherwise display the syntax error. Now, come here, sum equal to sum plus 1. We are going to perform one operation on sum. If you don't define the variable, defining variable means we need to define the data type of the variable. Please try to understand, all of you. Define the variable means we need to define the data type of the variable. See, we can say like that. Declaring variable means we need to define the data type of the variable. Let us take one example here. Sum equal to 0. That indicates sum is a variable, data type equal to integer. If I write sum equal to hello, what is sum? Sum is a variable, but data type is string. If I write sum equal to 20.3, sum is a variable, data type is float. But if you write sum equal to 0, data type equal to integer. If you define a variable means we need to define data type. If the variable is having data type, then only we can decide can we perform a specific operation on that variable or not. Let us take one example here. If I write here hello, is it valid or not? Will it display error, this code? Will it display error or not?
Yes.
yes, sir.
Instead of writing sum equal to 0, if I write sum equal to hello, will it display any error, this code?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it display one error. What is that error?
You cannot add integer to the string.
Right. Sum is string. Now you can see the operation sum plus I. That means we are going to concatenate string to integer by using plus operator, but it is not valid according to Python. So this operation is not allowed. Automatically the compiler will display the error message. If I write sum equal to 10, sum equal to 0, yes, sum is a integer data type, then the plus is allowed on sum, right? Now you can see the output. Now for I, what is I here? What is I?
The value in X.
I is a variable.
Variable, sir.
What is sum here? Sum is a variable. What is X? X is a variable. Now the question is, what is the difference between X, sum and I? One side I am saying X is a variable, sum is a variable, I is a variable. Second side I am asking, what is the difference between X, sum and I? Is anybody? You know the difference between X and sum. You know the difference between X and sum. What is the difference? X is a variable, sum is a variable, X type is list, sum type is integer, right? Now, what is the difference between sum and I? Both are variables. Sum is a variable, type is integer. I is a variable, type is also integer, because initial value of I, for I in X, take the first element value that is stored into X. What is the first element value? 1. That is stored into I. Then the type of I equal to integer. Take the second element 6. That is stored into I. Then the type of I equal to integer. The difference is I is a loop control variable. That means this entire loop is controlled by I. I is a variable, but the value I will control a complete loop. See, when to enter, when to come out from the loop, that is decided by I here. I is a loop control variable. But if you take any for loop, loop control variable will take the values from list, tuple, set or range function. All of you remember this point. If we take for loop, the initial statement consists of one control variable that is called loop control variable. That may be integer, that may be float, or that may be character. That depends on the kind of value you are passing to I. But one important point here, the loop control variable always takes the values from list, tuple, set or the range function. Now, the first iteration, take the first element of X, 1 is stored into I, value of I equal to 1, sum equal to sum plus I. What is the value of sum? 0. 0 plus I value is 1. 0 plus 1, 1. Now the value of sum equal to 1. Now the second iteration, take the second element that is stored into I. Now sum equal to sum plus I. What is the value of sum? 1. 1 plus I, value of I equal to 6. 1 plus 6, 7. 7 is stored into sum. Now take the third element that is stored into I. Value of I equal to 5. Value of sum equal to 7. 7 plus 5, 12. Sum equal to 12. Again, the value of I equal to 4. What is the value of sum? 12. 12 plus 4, 16. We'll repeat the process up to value of I equal to 9. I am going to execute the code now. What is the output? 45. How to get this 45? Sum of all the elements of X. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear? How to display sum of all the elements of the given list? How to find sum of all the elements of given tuple? How to find sum of all the elements of given set? Okay, right. Now you can see here, the question is, third question, how to check the given value is there in the given list or not. How to check the given value is there in the given list or not? What we have to do? There is a question here. How many times sum equal to sum plus I is executed? How many times sum equal to sum plus I statement executed in this code?
Nine.
We can use count/element.
No, just
Count bracket.
no. See, how many times sum equal to sum plus I statement executed in this code?
9 times.
9
9
times. Right. How many times take the value of I from X?
9.
9 times.
9 times.
How many times the sum executed? How many times the print sum executed?
1.
1. Right? Okay. Let us take another example here. Print we can see this example. What is the output of this program? What is the output of this program? Display high, how many times?
We'll get an error, sir.
It will display error? Sure? Okay, right.
No.
No. Why display error? First you tell me. Why display error? What is the wrong in that line? See, for I in X, for every element of X, followed by colon is there. Colon indicates indentation. For every element of X, run the following block or run the following statement. Both are correct. For every element of X, follow the indentation, run the following block, run the following statement. In the previous example, for every element of X, run the following statement because only one statement is there following the same indentation. You can see the spaces here. If set of lines follows the same indentation, that is called block. In this scenario, for every element of X, run two statements. Instead of using runs two statements, for every element of X, run the following block. The block consists of two statements. What are the statements? Sum equal to sum plus I. Print high. For every element of X, take the first element that is stored into I. Run the block. Take the second element that is stored into I. Run the block. Repeat the process to all the elements. Right? What is the output of this program? Display high how many times?
9
times.
9 times.
Display 45 how many times?
Once.
Once.
One
One
time.
time.
Right. How it display hello? How it display high? Is it display in one line or 9 lines?
Line by line.
Line by
Nine
line.
lines.
Because printf default uses /n character. What it does, it will print default invoke /n. Then automatically it will go to next line. Whatever output is coming, it will display in the next line. How to skip that process? So now you can see here. Display high 9 times 45. But you want to display high how many times? 9 times in one line. In the next line, you want to display 45. How to display? Comma, end equal to double quotes. Now, what is the output of this program? Run the code now here. Display everything in one line. What we have to do? So display high 9 times in one line. Next line display 45. What we have to do? Yes, anybody?
Providing line break.
Where to write that line break?
After that, and after we have written that
Right,
given
right.
space, sir.
Here I will write. Now we can see here. Print double quotes /n. We run this code. Now, how many lines are belongs to for loop? 2 lines. What are the lines? Sum and print. These 2 lines are not belongs to for loop. First, this statement executed, then this for loop executed, then this statement executed, then this statement executed. Okay, this is called declaration initialization. This is called loop statement. This is called output statement. This is called output statement. Run the code now. What is the output now? So display high 9 times. Then next line display 45. Now come to our question. How to check the given value is there in the given list or not? How to check the given value is there in the list or not? What we have to do?
If I is equal to 5, then it exists.
Hmm?
If I is equal to 5,
Hmm.
then the value exists.
Okay. Any other logic, first of all? What I have to do is, in this scenario, I need not make the sum here. I used to take a variable called flag. I used to take a variable called flag. Then take the first element, compare the element to 5. Take the first element, compare to 5. If it is equal, then I used to set flag equal to 1. Otherwise, flag equal to 0 only. Take the second element. Now, what is the first element? 1. 1 equal to 5. True or false? False. Flag equal to 0. Take the next value, 6. 6 equal to 5. True or false? False. Flag equal to 0. Then take the third element. Third element is 5. 5 equal to 5. True or false? True. Then what we have to do? Flag equal to 1. Then 4. 4 equal to 5. True or false? False. What we have to do? Still flag equal to 1. Repeat the process to all the elements. Once you complete the loop, once you complete the entire loop, then what we have to do? Check the value of flag. If the flag equal to 1, you can write print that element is present. Else print element is not present. Like we can write a code. Now try to understand what are the changes we need to do now. Just now we discussed about one variable flag. Initial value of flag equal to 0, right? Then take one for loop which will take all the elements of x. This is the syntax for I in x. Then what we have to do immediately? If how to check value of I double equal to, if it is 2, then what we have to do? If it is 2, what we have to do?
And flag equal to 1.
How to set flag equal to 1? Set flag equal to 1 indicates store 1 into the flag.
Flag double equal to 1.
Is it flag double equal to 1 or flag equal to 1? See, I told clearly in the last class, equal to is a assignment operator. Double equal to is a comparison operator. What the assignment operator does, there is an expression. Let us take one expression. You take one expression. X equal to a plus b is an expression. Here we use single equal. What it does, first evaluate the right hand side portion. Take the value of x, take the value of a, take the value of b, add these two. The result is stored into where? X. That is called assignment operator. Instead of using x, if I use double equal to, what it does, it will not store, it will compare. What are the values it will compare? Take the value of x, then take the value of A, B, add these two values. That value compared to the value of X. If both are equal, return true, otherwise return false. So here, double equal to is a comparison operator, equal to is a assignment operator. We need to set the flag equal to 1. Now, can we use assignment operator or comparison operator? Assignment operator. Okay. Then what we have to do now? Anything we have to do in for loop? Okay, right. It will repeat the complete loop. Then what we have to do? Check. If flag double equal to 1, then you can write int element else int element not present. See, this code is having few errors. Identify the errors.
Sir, you wrote the
Indentation.
spelling wrong, sir, of flag.
Where? Okay, right.
Here down, if flag
Good,
is
good.
equals to 1.
Right.
What is-
This is it syntax error or logical error?
Logical.
Syntax.
Logical.
Right.
Sir,
Okay, right.
logical.
This is a syntax error now because there is a variable spelling is FLAG. If I use FALG, syntax error or no? Then what about the second error?
Indentation.
Okay, if flag equal to 1, indentation. Then
Else also.
else also indentation. Now, will it run properly or not?
No.
No?
No.
Sure?
Yes.
Where is the error? You tell me.
Print.
Hmm?
In print, we have to give a tab.
Okay, right. Because if statement we need to follow indentation. Colon indicates the following line support indentation. Indentation means used to write a line with some spaces compulsory. If you don't give the spaces, it will take it as a regular line because that is not a regular line. What we have to do here, we give some spaces. Right. Here also we give some spaces. Now, will it compile properly or not? Will it run properly?
No.
No. Okay.
Flag
Where is the
also.
error? Huh?
Flag. Flag equal to 1.
Okay, right. Flag equal to 1. Okay, you can see without flag equal to 1. Right. What is this error? Expected and indented block. So that means here there is no indentation. Follow, right. On the code. Is that element present in the list or not? 5. Yes or no?
Yes.
Instead of 5, if I take 10, could you guess the output?
Not present.
Not present.
Yes.
Element not present. Instead of 5, if I take 0, 1, the element not present. If I take 7, is that element present in the list or not? Yes.
Yes.
Element is present. Good. Fourth question you can see. Display the list in the reverse order. How to display the list in the reverse order? Yes, anybody? Now, do we require a flag? Not required.
No.
Right.
No, sir.
Right. Okay. Then, what are the changes we need to do? I told 3 methods to display the contents of X. We can display directly by using print. We can use directly list name, or we can use range function. How to display the contents of the list in the reverse order? The output is 9, 8, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Display everything in one line. What we have to do now?
We have to use range.
Hmm?
Range.
You hold on for time being. Give the chance to others. Okay, I'm giving a small hint to all. Here we can use range function, right? Good. Then what we have to do?
-1, range -1.
Hmm?
Length of x -1, then 0, and then -1.
Okay, right. See, now you can see here I'm going to write the range function, right? Good. It will take 3 parameters. So the starting value, ending value, increment value or decrement value. We need to display the elements in the reverse order. That means we need to start with the last index. What is the last index? 9. Using length function, we can find here. Open bracket, length of x. What is the length of x? 9. But what is the last index? We need to start with the last index. Is it 8 or 9? 8.
8.
What we have to do? We need to take -1. Right. Comma. What is the last index? What is the last index?
8, sir.
No. Last index is 0. No. We are displaying in the reverse order. Starting index is 8. Ending index is 0. But here it will print up to ending index -1. So we used to take -1 here, comma, -1. This code. Starting index is 9. Ending index is -1, -1. Is it correct? We'll see. -1. Then what we have to do? Remove this code. Remove the entire code. Then if I write here, will it display any error? Print x of I.
No.
The code. Is it displaying? Is it displaying? Is it displaying all the elements?
Yes, sir.
9, 8, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. How to display all the elements in one line? Comma. End equal to double quote.
switch space.
I can see here. Display all the elements in the reverse order. Right? Any questions regarding this problem? Now the question is, find the average of the given list. How to find the average of the given list? You have some part of code. We need to find the sum. We need to find the sum. Sum divided by
Length.
elements, the number of elements. You know how to get the number of elements. Then the result is stored into one variable. Display the contents of the list. Now here I'm going to write here we can write directly because x colon will take a variable sum equal to 0. Then we will write sum equal to sum plus. We are going to get the total. Then what we have to do?
Another variable average.
Right. Take another variable. AVG equal to sum divided by
Length of x.
right. Length of x. And what we have to do?
We have to give indentations.
Done.
After writing the length of x, we have to give indentation.
Yes, because see, this is one statement. No? This is another statement. For loop. The for loop consists of this statement. Right. But average is not part of for loop. Average is not part of for loop. Once you find the sum using the for loop, come out from the for loop, then we can find the average. Average equal to sum of, okay. Here you can take some variable n, right? Print n. Any error is there? You will see. Displaying output 45. What is the total sum? 49 or 45?
45.
45 divided by how many elements are there?
9.
9. What is the total value?
5.
5.0. I want to display the integer value. I don't want to display the decimal value. What we have to do?
Int of 9.
No. Here you can use double slash. Because if you use single slash, return float value. If I use two slashes, return integer decimal. Now you can see here, output is 5. Okay, is it clear, this question? Right. Now, how to find the maximum value and minimum value for the given list? Yes, anybody? See, now the time is 1, 2. Do you have any class after this class?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No? Shall I continue for 10 more minutes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Now you can see the 6th question. How to find the maximum value and minimum value? What is the logic?
Can I say?
You don't know. So, okay, sorry. You don't say. Others. Around 50 to 60 students are there. Only every time 3 students are giving response. What about others? How to find the maximum value and minimum value? First, you write a code how to find the maximum value. I'm going to give a small hint to find the maximum value. See, I take one variable max. That variable I can store the maximum value for the given list. Initial value of max equal to first element. Initial value of max equal to first element. Then I can start comparing from the second element. If the max, if the element, second element greater than the max, now the max equal to second element. Again compare third element to max. If third element greater than max, then max equal to third element. Repeat the process to all the elements. At the end, I can get one value in the max. I can display that value. What is max? Max is a variable. Okay. We can change the contents of the variable throughout the program. Initially, I am taking max equal to first element. Compare the max to second element. If the second element greater than max, I can write max equal to second element. Again, max compared to third element. Third element greater than max, I can write max equal to third element. Otherwise, I will go for the comparison. Repeat the process to all the elements. Finally, the max is having the maximum value for the given list. At the end, I will display the contents of max. That is the logic. What we have to do now?
Sir? But here we directly have the function, no, sir? Max of list.
See, actually, whatever we do, many functions are there. Here I'm going to explain how we can improve the logic. Okay? How we can improve the logic. Directly can write max of x. It will display the maximum value. Right? Correct. But how we can improve the logic? What is the logic behind the max function? I'm going to take a variable. Initial value of max equal to The first element. How to get the first element?
X of 0.
X of 0. Then what we have to do? Can we use X function or range function? We can start with the index 1 or we can start with index 0, no problem. Right? If I start with X, then how to write the statement here? If X of I greater than max, if it is true, colon, what we have to do? Max equal to X of I. Okay. Now, print max, you can see here. Only 3 lines of code, 1 line initialization, second line for loop, third line print the value of max. You run the code here. Will it compile properly or not, first of all? Is there any syntax error?
Sir, X of I is written incorrectly. In the if statement, X of I is written incorrectly.
X of I, right, good. One is observed. X of I, right. Any syntax error?
After max, remove the. Yes.
Right. After max, there is a extra bracket. Right. Now, will it compile? If I run the code, what is the output?
9.
The code.
9, sir.
Now you can see the index out of range. By displaying index out of range.
Double equal to.
By displaying index out of range. Now, there are 2 ways to correct this code. There are 2 ways to correct this code. Now you can correct this code. Except those who are giving answers now, 2, 3. Others can give the answer. There are 2 ways you can correct this code. A small change in this code. What is the change? Small change in this code. Just a small change.
Double equal to.
Some are saying double equal to. Am I comparing anywhere? No. Double equal to is a comparison operator. Greater than is a comparison operator. Less than is a comparison operator. Greater than or equal to is a comparison operator. Less than or equal to is a comparison operator. See, you can take if statement. Comparison operator is there. Small change. Small change. Okay. I'm going to change the code. Now, will it run properly or not? Will it run properly? Is anybody? We need to do one more change. What is the change? Max equal to I. What about the first statement? Max equal to X of 0 is correct or not? Yes, correct. If I run the code, will it display 9? Run the code. Yes. The answer is correct. The answer is correct. Now the thing is, if I use X of I here, then here also I use X of I. Now what are the changes we need to do now?
We have to use range.
Right. Range function. Range, open parenthesis. What is the starting value? We can start with second.
1.
1, right. Length of x, comma 1. Can I skip the last one? If I run this code, will it display 9? Output is 9. Right? Okay. Now the question is, so if you understood the concept of how to find the maximum element, how to find the minimum element? How to find the minimum element? How to find the minimum element? What are the changes we need to do in this code? How many are there? 45. Okay. Yes. Tell me. What are the changes we need to do? Okay. Anyone can tell now, including those 3 also.
Less than.
F of x of I. Change max to min.
Huh?
And
Max to min is required? Any variable? Na?
No, no.
yes.
Any variable.
Max you can write. That is also correct, na? Okay. I will run the code. You can see the output. Is it displaying the correct answer? Yes, right.
Yes, sir.
Like that, you need to improve the programming logic. Okay? Right. So all of you take the paper and pen. All of you take the paper and pen. Write the second problem only. Find the sum of first to 50 even numbers. Find the sum of first to 50 even numbers. Find the sum of first 50 even numbers. Do you know how to find the factors for the given number? How to find the factors for the given number? How to find the given number is prime or not? Display the first 20 Fibonacci series numbers. All of you know what is Fibonacci series numbers. So these are the questions. Okay. Now I'm going to take questions from the students. If anyone is having questions regarding today's class. Yes.
Sir, the or one doubt.
Right. What is your name?
Zion.
Okay, Jian, tell me.
If we put x equal to 5. If we put x equal to 5.
Okay, I'm going to write a new program. Right. X equal to 5. Right.
If x equal to 5.
Double equal to?
Yes, double equal to 5. Pipe symbol. Pipe symbol.
Okay, right. Okay. Then?
No, sir. Inside the bracket.
Inside the bracket, how we can? Okay, right. You are going to write 2 conditions here, na? Right.
Yes.
Pipe.
X equal to 10.
X equal to 10.
Print. Yes.
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 Displaying no error,
Nothing. Nothing. It is not going through the
X equal to 5 true. Okay.
Yes.
X equal to 10 false. True or false? False. If it is false, the following block not executed. Print S will not be executed.
But sir, pipe symbol is the OR operator.
Yes. In C,
Then
C++,
anyone-
Java, double pipe is OR operator, but in Python, single pipe is OR operator.
Yes, sir, but first statement is true, then it should execute now.
Hmm?
First statement is true,
Hmm.
then it should execute now.
How? Because how many statements we need to compare?
Two.
Statements we need to compare. We need to compare two conditions. Okay, we need to compare two conditions. Take the first condition, second condition, apply OR. Then it will return the result.
Yes.
Because we are going to write two conditions, we can combine two conditions by using pipe operator. How it will skip after one condition? Okay.
Sir, if we put or, then it will.
Right. Huh?
If we instead of pipe symbol we write or, then it will print yes.
Sure.
Yes.
I will tell in the next class and why displaying like that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any other questions regarding today's class? 41 students are there. No one is asking questions. Okay.